You mentioned L.A. Reid sent you to New York, and you live with P. Diddy. They call it Flavor Camp.
Flavor Camp, yeah.
So what was that experience like, and how did that help Usher's career?
I don't think I would be the artist that I am today without the experiences that I had in New York City. One, just being in a new place where I would have to adjust, right? I didn't have the comfort of home. I'm in New York City, and they was, done and sunning me to death, bro. And I was like, shout it, I don't know what you talking about. You know what I'm saying? We finna go over here, you know what I'm saying? And they was like laughing at me because I was Southern and they were like New York, but they was like took me and they took me under their wing, you know what I'm saying? And looked at me like the little bruh.
Right.
I think back to, the earlier times of being there when Bad Boy was formed. Mm-hmm. I learned something about business. I learned something about artist development in a different way. I learned something about culture. So having the ability to be around all these different cultures of people, it just helped me understand the world that I lived in. I wasn't isolated and felt like I needed to be protected. I wasn't. I was like, yo, we're gonna show you the real ropes, to show you what the world really looks like and give you a front seat. I'm looking at Biggie, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at Craig Mack, I'm looking at Onyx. We running in the streets. We like literally out here seeing how we in barbershop, they shooting dice, you know what I'm saying? Bet I don't, 4-4 out, 4, you know what I'm saying? 4-5, I'm like, yo, what is this? You know what I'm saying? But so great to have had those experiences because one, I didn't have a big brother and my dad wasn't there in my life as a kid. So all these experiences just readied me for life. So greater than just being an artist, that man helped me understand life. He helped me understand what it was to be an artist. He helped me understand what it was to be passionate about something. He helped me understand culture. He helped me understand business on a different level because I'm seeing him go from his independence to then becoming Puff Daddy. You know what I'm saying? And I got a front row seat looking at that. Thank God that I had that experience, you know what I'm saying?
And then
And by the way, at New York's hottest moment, you know what I'm saying? This is Terror Squad and Fat Joe. I'm like, how do I know all this stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like I can remember being on stage, I can't curse on this, but I was like, one of the craziest experiences ever. I happened to be on stage performing with Biggie, and this is back when he had a song called Party and Bull Dung. Cow dong. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, this is crazy. But I was able to take all of that and then begin to understand, oh, okay, I get it. I see where the world is, but now I want to do this my way. Yeah.
Man. I talked to Steve Stout yesterday, and he said that when you getting ready for a show that you would train chasing the U-Haul and they're playing Confessions because you are an entertainer. You're not just sitting on a stool singing. You're moving and you're every word and you're dancing, you're doing all these dance moves.
Yeah.
Bro, how are you able to do this night in and night out? And you still got them 20-year-old knees.
Yeah, I know, man. It's like the conditioning is no different than, football. You know what I mean? You gotta really have you gotta have the core. And
right.
You gotta make certain that you can sing and dance. So part of my moving and singing and running and doing some of these things that are probably not a part of the build of artists,
Right.
That type of artist development is something that I learned. I learned it from a guy by the name of A.J. Alexander, the guy who actually discovered me, who was Bobby Brown's bodyguard, right? So as a kid, he had his kids in Atlanta.
Right.
And this was our training. Like, it was like boot camp. Singing wasn't just like, oh, we gonna get out here and just jam and sing to girls.
Right.
No, you gotta he was like putting us through straight boot camp.
So you had to learn to sing while you're tired because you're running and like you said, it's boot camp. But
I just think that generation of entertainment, it was different. You know what I'm saying? And I had been in a group before, and we as a group, we worked in the same way. You know what I'm saying? We played basketball. You know what I'm saying? And we got our wind up. Or when we were working, we would sing and dance and move around. He would have us running and singing, all of that kind of stuff. That wasn't uncommon. That's not an uncommon thing if you consider yourself an artist.
Right.
That is part of artist development. And if you want to be able to get out there, sing, dance, not miss a beat, be on key, that's the type of work that you got to do.
Right. You mentioned you were born in Chattanooga. You moved to Atlanta at a very, very young age. And you said your mom, I read where you said your mom kind of quit what she was doing to devote all of her attention to you. And you said your mom was kind of hard on you and making sure that's what you wanted. Where does your stance? Because we see Richard, Venus and Serena. Richard Williams was very hard on them. We see Tiger's story. His dad was hard on him. And then I see Dwight Howard trying to push his son, and he gets blowback. So where's Usher? If your kids, how are you going to be with your son? You say you got a son that's playing basketball now. How's Usher, the parent, given where he came from, knowing what he knows, how's he going to be?
Man, I deal with the same, issues that any parent deals with. Kids who are influenced by, the things that they see, the things that they get into. But the one thing that I do is care for my kids, right? I view disciplinary, kind of measures as something that is preparing your kids, especially black kids, for, the reality of the world that they're living in. I hold you to a higher standard. I personally hold you to a higher standard because I know what work it takes to be great. Mm-hmm. And for parents who do that, look at the evidence. Look at the incredible, artists, the incredible athletes that were created in that moment. This generation may not necessarily have the same respect, but God bless the coaches that we have. God bless the mentors and stuff that we have that motivate our kids, because it almost puts this pressure on parents to not be parents. Right. Nah, it's a hard dynamic, especially if you come from an industry where you know what it takes to not naturally kick into that mode and say, yo, if you want to do something, you want to play basketball, you got to run at a certain rate. I'm going to push you. If you really want to do this, you got to show me. You're going to show up on time. You ain't on time, give me push-ups right now. What? Yeah, give me push-ups, run these laps. Run these suicides right now. You serious, Dad? Yeah, for real. And I'm not playing. And if I catch you, if I get there before you do, you're gonna give me 100 extra push-ups. Wow. You know what I'm saying? That's right. That's just the nature of the animal that is inside of who we are as I don't know, man, as entertainers, as athletes. So I don't look at any of that kind of disciplinary kind of measure as a bad. I do think it's equally important to talk to your kids. Okay. If you're gonna push them that way, then you gotta love on them just as much.
You gotta explain to them why you pushing.
There you go. That's right. They gotta know that, my dad's gonna push me to be great. My dad's gonna talk to me as well and help me understand why he's pushing me the way that he is.
But how is that? Because you have to understand, you're in a totally different situation than what they are. Your mom didn't have it like your kid's dad has it.
Right.
So they're looking because you're like, man, I gotta get my mom out of this situation. I want to have. When your kids come home, they got a 6-car garage, they got 25,000 square feet, they got nanny, they got maid, they got chef, they got all of that. Yeah. that is a harsh reality, which is more the reason why you got to be harder on them. But mindful that their normal is different than our normal. Right. And the access that they have is greater and grander, and the expectation is actually higher. That's the one thing that I have empathy for my children, especially the ones, that, I named my son Usher. So every time he's out, obviously there's that pressure. I've even battled at times, my kids, sometimes they don't want me to come. They don't want me to be at the, that basketball game or their recital, or they want me to be very, very low key because they don't want that energy. They don't want, Dad walked in the room and took, all their focus off of me. Yeah, and it's hard because I try my hardest to have that empathy, but I want to be there, you know what I'm saying? Countless times being able to just sit at the back of the room quiet, you know what I'm saying, is keep myself as small as possible and be as quiet as I possibly can. You want to be a parent.
Yeah, man, yeah. But it is, you're right, like that access and that reality that they're looking at, it gives them some expectation. And unfortunately, I can't take it back, you know what I'm saying? Like I walked so that we could ride, you know what I'm saying? And now that you're riding, I want you to understand the importance of walking. Right.
Did you always, at the age of 10, 11, and 12, you were on Star Search, did you always know you wanted to be this?
Well, which part of this do you mean, right? Because
the guy that's sitting across from me, that's internationally known, that goes and sells out every concert, the guy that's almost at 100 shows at a residency, the guy that's doing the halftime show, one of the king of R&B. This.
Thank you very much. But let me give you a little clarity, right?
Okay.
No, I don't know if I was prepared for any of it, but I know that I was dedicated enough to stick to it until something happened. And then something that I didn't expect happened, to become a businessman, to then understand entrepreneurship, to understand philanthropy, to understand empathy, to begin to understand the other side of it. I wasn't prepared for that. I knew that if I set my mind to anything, the affirmation of me once saying it and actually making it happen, willing it to happen, was something that I was committed to. As a kid, I walked around and my mother used to tell me all the time, you need to stop telling people that you're gonna be a big artist. I'm like, why? That's what I believe. This is what I think about myself. If I don't believe it, nobody else would. Correct. But you don't have to say it. It ain't happened yet. I'm like, but I want it to. So let me just keep
manifesting it.
I must keep saying it until it actually, becomes the reality. And I'm gonna not only just say it and expect somebody to give it to me. I'm gonna take the long way around. I wanna work for it. I wanna be able to say I earned it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I remember the first time that I saw you, and I didn't quite know who you were. I saw you in Nike Town in Phipps Plaza.
Man.
I used to see you in Gucci all the time, and you always sing. I was like, man, why this dude singing? I'll be like, he's like, and you were just singing and singing and singing. And I was talking to my sister, I said, man, I saw this, you couldn't have been no more than like 16 or 17 tops. Yeah. I said, I saw this kid in Nike Town, and he was singing. I think he might be something.
Yeah. I don't know if I was auditioning or what, you know what I'm saying? But I was preparing for my moment, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's the plight, you know what I'm saying? To anything that you want to be great at, you have to make it a process. Like it's a part of your every thought. Like if you want to play basketball, you always bounce on the ball. If you want to play football, you always readjusting, you always managing, you always ready and alert. If you want to play sports, it's like you have to stay activated and stay active. As an artist, it's the same. And, I'm also too haunted by the idea that I had this talent. So it's naturally just coming out. It's like you can't help but just be who you are.
You had this talent. Obviously, in high school, normally when you have a talent, everybody's not as talented as everyone else. So were there hating going on with you in high school? Did people hate that you were so gifted? Because you're in a talent show, you winning. You know that. You're not losing a talent show.
No.
So they're like, okay, you won the last 5 talent shows. You're not entering this one.
No, but that's what makes you great, right? The fact that you know that there's opposition. If you're playing on a football team, right? You're gonna go out there, you see that you up against some dogs, you know what I'm saying? You gotta go out there with a different attitude. You gotta believe it. You gotta be it. And by the way, I had a hard trip, bro. My name was Usher. I don't have Marcus or Derek or Eddie or something like that. I was already an outlier. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, you walking around with this name and they weren't nice to me. You know what I'm saying? Usher. What's up, Usher? You want an Usher board? You know what I'm saying? A Usher bar. I was like, man, come on, man. All right, that's cool.
So what was dating like for Usher in high school?
Dating? It was a bit difficult, you know what I'm saying? Because I just was
can sing, you can swoon them.
Yeah, I know, but I was just trying my hardest to stay focused on my actual goal, and I don't know, man. I was just trying to figure out how to get to the real goal. To have a girlfriend, that was cool. You know what I'm saying? I would definitely impress the girls and
see, I knew I was gonna get it out you. I knew I'd get it out you.
Of course, you know what I'm saying? But I just, it wasn't about that, man. I was focused, bro. I was like, I need to stay focused, and I have a goal. You know what I'm saying? When I figured out, this is really what I want to do, I think I was willing to make the sacrifices that were needed. And while I wanted to enjoy, having relationships, it was like, if I find a girl that I think is really cool and I can learn something from her, she can learn something from me, then we can help each other. But for the most part, we can help each other out.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think there was a phase where I was girl crazy, you know what I'm saying? But man, I was trying to figure out how to get as many numbers as I possibly could because I wanted to be a player, you know what I'm saying, from the Himalayas. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't really focused on that too much.
How did you deal with your voice at 10 is not the same as the voice at 14, and the voice at 14 is not the same as the voice your mature voice is going to be. So how did you handle the voice change going through puberty?
It's crazy. You know, I just had to figure out how to focus on something else until it changed back and just keep working. I changed my eating habits, you know what I'm saying? In addition to losing my voice, I had pizza face, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know what I'm talking about, teenagers.
Yeah.
You go through a phase where it's just like Nestle Crunch, you know what I'm saying? And I was like, man, I gotta figure this out, you know? But I didn't let any of that deter me from like, I still gotta stay focused on what I wanna do. I lost my voice completely. It was hard, because I didn't lose my voice and didn't have anything, right? I lost my voice and I actually had a record that was on the radio. I had a record that I put out, Just Call Me a Mac, and I couldn't sing it. Here I am at, I think it was Jack the Rapper in Atlanta, Can I Be Down? I can't remember which, it was one of those two. And I sang my song and I got through it. That was the first and the last time that I actually sang. And I impressed an audience of people, some of whom still come up to this day and like, yo, I remember you in this yellow something. You was like a little kid, man, and you really just had this real big energy. And then after that, I lost it. And trying my hardest to not lose my mind in that and become like depressed, like fall into a deep depression. It took a great deal of support. It took my mama, it took my grandmother, it took my nanny, it took my family members to, just continue to encourage me. And I managed to make it through it. The people who managed to stick around, the people that I was working with at the time, a lady by the name of Shirley Riley, an amazing coach as well, but working with Kawan Prayatha, who was the person who I worked with at the time, Shanti Das, these people who, were kind of appointed for me to work with, they didn't give up on me. They continued to see something bright in me. L.A. Reid, they continued to invest in me, working with, vocal coaches and continued to help me find my way. Sent me to New York City to work with Puffy. It was just like, okay, we're not giving up. We still believe in it.
How difficult is it as a child to find topics to sing about? Because you're like 13, 14, you can't be singing about this mature stuff. And you're not a gangster rapper. You ain't shooting up the club and talking about this B and this garden tool and all that. So was it difficult?
This garden tool.
Was it difficult for you to find material? Come on. Was it difficult for you to find material to sing about?
Yeah, it was like pips and garden tools. Man. I didn't have to worry about that as much. I think they spent time with me. It was funny. Eddie Bishop and Tim Thomas, the first two producers that I worked with, we just posted something. And I look back and it's like, man, so great that you, on the road to riches, you stop and take pictures. Because it actually just takes you back to that moment. I almost forgot about, just the hope in my eyes and the fact that I was just a little kid.
Right.
But here they are trying to make songs for me about being a Mac. I don't even know what a Mac is, you know what I'm saying?
A Big Mac.
Mac truck, a Big Mac? Like, nah, but, I think I left it to them to help, help me figure out how to talk. Because I could have easily, became, one of the sensations that would have been locked into being a kid only, had made kid music specifically for kids.
Right.
But I think that they were trying to make music that adults would listen to as well. That was a real smart thing for them to do.
Right.
And really, it was great to think ahead, because it made it easier for me to transition. When I worked with, Organized Noise, when I worked with Puff, when I worked with, those guys, they were trying to tell the coolest young guy's story. The guy who, was kind of having emotions, but still trying to be a young fly player. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I got a little movement here. You know what I'm saying? I talk to women a certain way. They were giving me like, yo, you got to talk to a girl like this. You know what I mean? And, when we do intros, like, yo, you talk over R&B records. Just how you got to talk to them, bro, But, great that I was able to have more mature conversation, because I didn't get caught in the kid thing. I wasn't like a kid teen type sensation. Right. I was out there trying to figure out how to take my shirt off and show my six pack, you know what I'm saying?
How do you balance being a father and being this the residency here in Vegas. I don't know if you're going to go back to tour again because you got it pretty good right here. You don't have to leave. You don't have to leave. After
one-stop shop.
Yeah. Once you get done, you go up to your room. Well, you got a place now here in Vegas, in Henderson. You said.
Yeah.
And so now you don't have to worry about getting on planes, trains, automobiles, and going one state to the next city. How do you balance that? Because you said because your father wasn't around when you were younger, that's very important to you that you're around for your kids now.
Yeah.
But you also understand that the way daddy make a living is by doing this. So how do you balance that?
Well, the balance is, up until 7 o'clock. It's funny. I'm focused on my kids.
Right.
And then at 7 o'clock on the dot, I'm working.
Okay.
It's funny how that works.
Right.
But, man, it's a balance, man. It's a balance in any field that we are, right? Especially if you got to travel with a team. I like to travel, actually, so I don't think that I'm done touring.
Right.
I do see it in the future, but maybe in a different way. I just played Paris, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I had an 8-day residency or 8-night residency in Paris that was a major success. To be able to, find space to sit down and really enjoy, because that's the most important part.
Yes.
Like the greatest thing that we have is time. It's not money. It's the time that you spend.
Right.
And being able to spend that time with my children, spend that time and really enjoy the places that I go, I don't want to lose that.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because we like to do something before 2 something.